Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to back. Welcome back to my channel. And today we are learning the topics which is mentioned in a two-part video series. Creating a string variable with value hello world in SSJS, storing the value in a data extension, displaying the data stored in D using the AMP script, execute a for loop and store the result in B, create and execute SSJS in Automation Studio. So the first four topics will be covered in one video and the remaining four topics will be covered in the second video. Create and execute SSJS in Automation Studio activity with run once. Execute the script activity in scheduled automation with run once. Create a multiplication table to understand the concatenation. At last, the explanation of the string concatenation in JavaScript, which is exactly applicable to SSJS, server-side JavaScript. And the annotation, which has been on, might not be working as expected. So do bear with it. Thank you. So having said this, let me move into a Notepad++ to explain you people this. So first I'll be explaining why that I'm using a data structure, that is the data extension, for storing the string and displaying it. One of the reasons is response.write is not executing in the stack which I'm using. So the first 5 topics will be covered in one video. The remaining 4 topics will be covered in the second video. If required, I'll be making one more video to understand in detail how JavaScript handles the string and the plus operator, which is overloaded with the feature of concatenation. Having said this, let me explain you people the D which has been used and how it looks and what is required for SSJS. If you can see my screen, in this I've created a data extension which is called as test SSJS, and when you go to properties, this is the name of it, and here we can see the external key. External key is very much required for your external API calls and server-side JavaScript. Okay. So now we have the field called message with the maximum text length 4000. And in this data extension, I'm not using any primary key since I just want to populate the results of server-side JavaScript. Visible is a variable which has been used with a Boolean value true or false so that AMP script can read it and display it. So this is the structure, and in the previous example, as you have seen, we were not able to execute response.write method, a response object, write method or write function. Having said this, so now it's time to jump in and start writing the code. I'll be going with, after explaining the D structure and why it is being used, now it's time to create a variable with the value string hello world, store the same result in a data extension. Then how to display the stored data in D using AMP script, and then execute a loop to store multiple strings. So let me start writing the code. Script tag open, script tag close. And I have to mention that it is a SSJS code using the attribute run it. So the first line always try to have platform.load which is a case sensitive language with two parameters. The first parameter being the core library, the second parameter being the. Now I'll write it as hello world 1 dot JavaScript JS or dot HTML. Anyhow, we'll be executing this in the Salesforce Marketing Cloud page. After loading this, let me create a variable message is equal to double quotes, preferably or single quotes. Hello. Now, I want to store the same information. I want to store the same information in a data extension. First, I'll take a variable D or data underscore extension is equal to data extension object dot init function, which initiates or initializes the test underscore SSJS. And don't forget, this should be an external key of that data extension. Now, with the support of the object, data extension dot rows dot add, I'll try to print this message variable within this. So if I want to do this, I need to take an object where I'll be specifying the field name colon the variable which I want to store, which is the message. The first one is representing the field in the data extension. Second one is representing the value which I want to store. Let me do this by telling hello.js first, SSJS, and let me execute this code to see the result. I'll copy this code, go to the cloud page. So I'm using two tabs. The first tab is representing or to display the data extension. Second page is having the SSJS code. I'll copy this, paste it, click on save and publish. With save and publish, we won't see any result here, and we need not have to click this link because once we save and publish, it is executed. Now it's time to see whether we have a record in this with the specified value. We don't see this message again. So message is the field name. Now let me click on this link to see it. I don't see any result. It means that it is executed. How do I confirm that it was executed? I'll be writing an h1 tag with some version. Save and publish. If it is executed more than once, it keeps on storing that hello world. So now it's time to verify it by moving it. I can see two records now, and both the records are trying to print hello world. Since there is no primary key, you can see hello SSJS is being added as a record more than once. And more frequently, I'll be clearing this data. Now, I have 0 records. Let me click on the link. It executes the code. H1 is being used just to verify the page execution, or else we'll be getting it. Now we can see one string, which is hello world. Now this was an example of printing directly. Now I would like to go with executing with the variable. Instead of using the string, I'll use the variable message. The first one is representing the field name. The second one is representing the string variable coming from this one. So now it's time to copy this. I'll try to execute here. Version will be updated to 2. When I click on the save and publish, before this, okay, confirm there is no data. Now I'll go to this tab where I'm trying to execute this. Save and publish will execute it, and we see this version 2. Since it is already executed, I do expect a result of hello world in this data extension. It says 0 records. It was executed successfully, but now let me click on the link to see the result, which is version 2. After clicking the link, let me check the string. Yes, I have one record which says it is hello world. Now I want to display this information onto the page using AMP script. SSJS is not able to do it, so I'm going with an alternative of using AMP script to display it. So the first 4 lines is, the first line is having the platform.load, second statement is having the variable to store the string, and then we have created the variable called data underscore extension completely in lowercase to initialize the data extension, and using that object we are trying to add a rows.add method. Everything is in uppercase, that is R and A, with the field name and the value. Now, based on the topic, let us go here. So what we did is explain the data extension structure, creating the string, storing it in the D is done. Now it's time to store more than one or to display this. Let me try to display this with a continuation code. So this is the script, this is the version. Now I would like to write AMP script below this to display the same data which is stored. Let me continue the code in AMP script. How to write an AMP script? It's a $% square bracket $%. Let me take the variable which is the D result. No need of semicolon in this. And when I'm using the keywords of AMP script, it is not a case sensitive language. I usually go with uppercase. Now it's time to get that result with the D result. And we need to use the keyword set so that it stores the information is equal to lookup rows function, and this time I need to specify 3 parameters. The first parameter will be the name of the data extension. The second parameter, the field, and the third parameter is the value. Once we have this result, as we know that it is only one record at a time which is stored, I want to just go and pull those informations into a variable. Set at row, first fetch the row using the row function of AMP script by specifying the parameter D result, comma, the first row, comma, the first row. Next, using this first row stored in the row variable, I'll try to pull the message using the function called field. Field will take 2 parameters. First is the row variable in the previous step, and then the name of the field which you want to fetch. Now we have the message stored here. Now it's time to print it in your body. To print anything in the HTML body, which is the variable of the AMP script, you should use $, double equals, $%, and a function within it. The function name is v. Specify the variable of AMP script here. Now let's see whether we can execute this. I'll execute together, but for now I'll go with this. Let's see the result of hello world in the same page. Hello world. Yes, this is coming from the data extension, and that data extension was populated by SSJS. I'll be using two pages now. One is the page to only work on the SSJS. The second cloud page will be playing around to display the cloud page, the data stored in data extension. So I'll be having a duplication of this. Now, good till now. So now I'll go within this where I'll execute only SSJS. The second tab is only dedicated to store and display the AMP script. AMP script will help me in displaying the data stored in. Here is my code. I usually prefer to code it in Notepad++ and copy paste. So this is my AMP script code. Display AMP script 1.html. This is my AMP script code. This is how it is looking at. Now it's time to execute a loop to have more than one message getting printed. As usual, I'll be clearing my data extension if it stores some information, and then I would like to go into the AMP script to write a loop. Instead of hello world, I want to have hello world 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 10, and every time that should be executed here. So all the initializations, I'll place it in one place. I have a variable message. Now it's time to write a loop so that it executes and prints it. So this variable can be written within the loop. For the variable index is equal to 1, index is less than or equal to 10, and every time the index should be increased is equal to index plus 1. Now I'll take a variable message is equal to hello world plus the index. Let me write the hello world. Hello world space hyphen space. This message has to be printed or stored in your data extension every time. So I'll place this loop within it. Now after executing this code, what do I expect? I expect 10 rows which has hello world 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me copy this. Paste it here, and this is my version 3. Or make it as version 1, version 2, and then 1. Let me save and publish once, and I'll click the link. Usually the code executes once you click on the save and publish, so be quick enough in save and publishing it. Now let me click the link and let's see the result. Yes, it says version 3. That is awesome. But now, is it populated 10 records? Yes, we can see 10 records being stored. Hello world 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the initial concatenation what we're learning. We'll have a detailed learning on concatenation. Now let me see what will happen if the value is out of the loop, that is data extension dot. If I place this line out of the loop, the expected output is it should have only one record with the latest message. Since it's a variable and this variable is having or getting updated with the results, So we need to go back as usual, copy this code, and this is my fourth version. Save and publish. Publish. Every time I'll clear the data extension before clicking it. I'll click on this link. This should be displaying version 4. Awesome. If it is version 4, then I'm expecting only one record because the code of inserting the data is being placed out of the loop. Since it is out of the loop, as I mentioned, you can see only one. Now, what is the solution? So I want to place it out, but I want to have all the 10 records. But if I want to place all the 10 records, it will be placed here. But before that, I need to have this variable declared with an empty string. And every time I don't need this variable now, I need to concatenate the same message variable like this. And to have it in multiple lines, now it will be not 10 records. It is one record with all of them. To make it clear, I'll go with break, since it will be displayed on a web page later. Let's see the result of this without having the break. Copy this code. This is only one row. You can see the result here. It is selling hello world 10. That is the only value we have. Now let me clear this and let me execute this SSJS code. Good. How many rows we expect now? It is only one row which will be populated. I've cleared the data extension for reference. Save and publish. Let me paste it with version 5. This is only for our understanding. Save and publish. Version 5 executed. Awesome. Let me see the number of records now. It should be 1, but it will have all the 10 sticks in one row. You can see this. Hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world. It's only one string. If you remember, we had 10 rows. Now it is only one row because it is having only one add with all the strings. Now this code is helping me out in displaying it. Schedule and publish. I should see all of them. Yes. But I want in 10 multiple rows. Then very simple, place the code. Or with multiple lines, use the break, or you can use h1 tag. Let me use h1 tag at the beginning. After the index, let me concatenate with one more string to display h1, the closing tag. Now let us execute this, which is the version 6. One row of the result, but it will be printing in multiple lines because of concatenation of the tag h1. First, I'll execute it by clicking the link. It says version 6, and I did not clear this data. I do expect one more row. Yes, we have 2 rows, but I don't want 2 rows. What I'll be doing is I'll be just clearing the data. Now the data extension is storing your HTML code also. Now let me execute this again. Now we will have only one row, but when we display it in AMP script, it should display in multiple lines because it is having all the h1 tags concatenated. This is still the row, but when we display using the AMP script, you must see everything in multiple lines. Can you see this? Hello world 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So with this, I'll be ending the video on the topics which I mentioned in the first 4 lines. D and these 4. Now it's time to go with the next video. Next video, I'll be explaining you people how to write the same code in automation, how to use run ones, multiple tables, that is the multiplication table. Good. Let me go back to the slideshow. So this is what we covered, which is mentioned in line 1. So the next video will be covering on the remaining 4 line items and one additional video to discuss on concatenation in JavaScript, applicable exactly the same in SSJS, server-side JavaScript. Thank you for watching the video. Have a great day.